إلا بالله الذي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. We first offer our condolences to Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif for the sad demise of Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, and we hope that inshallah our majlis would be acceptable to Imam and would be recognized as a sign of our sharing in his musibah, which is our musibah. I thought it would be inshallah beneficial to reflect on a very beautiful advice that Imam Hasan alayhi salam gave to a person called Junadah, and it's something for all of us very useful inshallah. And if inshallah we open our hearts to this advice and imagine that we are hearing directly from Imam, inshallah it would have a lifelong impact on our hearts inshallah. Imam alayhi salam told Junadah, استعد لسفرك وحصل زادك قبل حلولأجلك. O Junadah, prepare yourself for your journey. We all have a journey in front of us. No one can avoid it or bypass it. But this is a journey which is also personal journey. Lسفرک. Because although we may travel together, but everyone has to make his own traveling. So I cannot, for example, stop and say to people, please carry me. Please put me in a car and take me with you. So at the same time that there are other people who are traveling, but every person has his own journey. Lسفرک. So it's your journey. And everyone's journey can be somehow similar to others' journeys and can be somehow unique. There are common responsibilities that we have. There are common things that we have to observe. But also there are things that might apply to me, not to you, or to you and not to me. What is important is that everyone should be alert and look 360 degrees and see what are the things that I have to observe. For example, someone who has children and someone who doesn't have children, they are not journeying in the same way. Someone who is married, someone who is not married. Someone who has parents to look after, someone who doesn't have parents. Someone lives in a community, someone has no community. Our journey can be somehow similar, somehow different. Someone is the leader of a community. Someone is a member of community. Their journey is not the same. Someone is a teacher, someone is a student. So what is important is, first, no matter who you are, you have a journey. Secondly is that you have to prepare yourself. No one can prepare on your behalf. It's not like you say to your mom or wife that I want to travel, please help me with packing my, suitcase. No, you have to do it yourself. Or you cannot say, please ship to me these items, I need them. You have to do it, everything. And then Imam alayhi salam said, وحصل زادك قبل حلولأجلک. This journey, like any other journey, needs provision. Zad is the provision that you take with you when you travel. If you are at home, they don't call it Zad. They don't call it provision. For example, I am in my own hometown. I need to have some earning, but this is not called Zad. This is not called provision. This is my rizq. This is my sustenance. Zad, by definition, is for someone who is traveling. And the assumption is that you have to collect and prepare your Zad before traveling. Because when you are traveling, there may not be any place to buy or shop, or you may not have a currency that they are going to accept. You are traveling to a new world that you have no experience and no one is supplying you anything. You have to take with you everything. But there are two issues to consider. One is that you have limited time to prepare yourself and collect provision. You have ajal. You have a deadline. How much is your ajal? We don't know. This is part of the reality of this life. Even if you are very healthy, very fit, and you have all the doctors around, the best medical treatment is available for you, you don't know how long you are going to live. You can be living in a very peaceful and safe environment, and then a careless driver can, kill you. Or you may have heart attack. And you may live in a place which is very unsecure, and you remain safe. No one knows. Ajal is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Especially in Akhir al-Zaman, Hadith says many people die before their fixed ajal comes, because we have one fixed ajal, which is ajal musamma, that Allah knows, and there is no reason why our fixed ajal should be 40, 50, 60 or 100 years. It could be much more. But many people die before their fixed ajal comes. This is ajal mu'allaq. Depending on what we do, what others do, how you observe your kinship, how you respect your parents, how much charity you do, how much sadaqah you give, your ajal can be shorter or can be extended, but it's very, very likely that you never reach your fixed ajal. You die much earlier. So, because we don't know anyway what is even our fixed ajal, so we are always surrounded by doubts. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, you cannot even take one extra day for granted. If you really think that I am tomorrow alive, till tomorrow I will be alive. Maybe the day after tomorrow, no, but tomorrow I am alive. So you have not taken ajal seriously. Even you don't know that you are going to be there for one more day. So there is an ajal, there is a deadline, which is totally surrounded by uncertainty. Therefore you have to be always ready. But on the other hand, the provision that we need is known to be for eternal journey. This is the challenge. In a limited time that even you don't know how little it is, you have to collect enough provision for an eternal journey. Like I tell you, I give you either 1 minute or 1 year or 10 years. I don't tell you how much. It might be 1 minute or even less than 1 minute, can be 1 year, can be 10 years. But you have to collect for millions of years of traveling. What do? Do you waste even 1 second of your time? Or even before my sentence is finished, you start collecting, you start preparing. Unfortunately, we never think that death is a real possibility. Even if we see people around us dying, there is something in back of our mind that I am an exception. Others are going to die, but I am going to be there. And this is based perhaps on a false argument, because so far everyone has died and I have remained. So by induction, we say the future also will be like this. I am going to be here and others are going to die. This is what we call istiqra. So far it has been like this, that I was there, everyone has died, so in future also will be like this. This is something that maybe unconsciously we always think. But the sad thing is that death is coming and is going to surprise you. 99, maybe 0.99% of people would be surprised by their death. Even if they are ill, they would be surprised, let alone the people who are healthy. So, limited time, but what you need is unlimited provision. This is a big challenge. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam says, min qillat al-zad wa bu'd al-safar wa wahshat al-tariq wa 'azim al-mawrad. He mentions 4 concerns. First of all, our provision is very little. Whose provision? Amir al-Mu'mineen. Even Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he thinks of what he has to take with him, he says, min qillat al-zad. Amir al-Mu'mineen, whose one strike on the day of Khandaq is afdalu min ibadat al-saqalain, but when he thinks about this journey, he says, my provision is very little. When Salman died, Amir al-Mu'mineen wrote on his grave, وَفَدْتُ عَلَى الْكَرِيمِ بِغَيْرِ زَادِ مِنَ الْحَسَنَاتِ وَقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. I have arrived to the door of Karim, the generous, the honorable Lord, without any hasanat. It's better to say we have nothing, and without having qalb salim, without having pure heart. So, min qillat az-zad, our provision is very little. But wa bu'd as-safar, if provision was little and journeys was also short, you could do something. But provision is very little and journey is very long. How many years are you going to live after death? Between death and Qiyamah we have barzakh. How many years? We don't know. But then after Qiyamah, it's unlimited, is infinite. So for an infinite journey, how much provision you need? If you are going to travel for one day, you need maybe a little food. If you are traveling for 1 week, you need more. If you are traveling for 1 year, you need much more. But if you are traveling forever, how much you need? So the journey is very, very long, unlimited. Our provision is very little. But even if you had lots of provision, divided in infinite becomes epsilon. So we are in a very terrible situation. وَوَحْشَةَ الطَّرِيقِ. The third problem is this path is the path that you would be alone. Wahsha in Arabic means to be alone. So although there would be people who would travel, but everyone is so busy with his own or her own problems that they would not have any time or any energy to save so that they can help you. Of course, muttaqin are different, and muttaqin even on the day of judgment will look after themselves and each other. الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين. But most of people, even a person can run away from his parents. يوم يفر المرء. A person can run away from his brother, from his father, from his children, from his parents, from his own tribe. For most of people it's like this. وحشة الطريق. So you are alone. وعظيم المورد. And what you are going to see and the situation that you are going to be present there is great. Imagine if someone tells us you have to be present in a court that the most experienced judge with the most accurate data are going to look into your case, and you are a criminal. What would be your feeling? And then they say on top of that, it's not only the judge, this would happen in front of all people, and everyone is going to see and hear what you have done in front of your family, your friends, your community, in front of Rasulullah, in front of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Your case is going to be reviewed with all data. Even although they have all data, they don't need to tell you about those data. Your own eyes, ears, hands, legs, lips, skin, they will bear witness. So you don't need even external witnesses. Your own organs are going to talk. And they are not going to say anything except truth. قالوا لجلودهم لما شهدتم علينا قالوا أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء. They say to their skin, why you are bearing witness against us? But they say, Allah has made us speak, and He makes everything speak. So this is Azim al-Mawrid. It's a very, very serious encounter. What should we do? There are people that when they think there is such a big issue, they try to ignore it. They think by not thinking about it, it will be sorted out. And this is very irrational. How can I avoid a problem by not thinking about it? There is a bird that when the hunters go after this bird, especially in winter because there is a snow, so when the hunters go after this bird puts his head inside the snow and then the leg in the air so that cannot see the enemy, and thinks that then the enemy also would not see it. But if you don't see your enemy, it doesn't mean that your enemy is not going to see you. Amir al-Mu'minin says, Man nama lam yunam an. If you asleep, your enemy is not going to sleep. If I forget death, death is not going to forget me. If I don't think about akhirah, akhirah is not going to disappear. So by thinking about something else, the problem is not going to be solved. Nowadays, we don't want anyone to remind us about death. Unfortunately, this is a bad habit. We think this is reducing our pleasure. Why we should think about death? Now we are alive, let's enjoy our life. But this is not correct, and this is not actually letting you enjoy your life, because you can enjoy your life better when you know that this life is going to finish. Yeah? If you go to a very beautiful place and forget that you have to leave that place, you don't enjoy. You go and sleep. Imagine I have been given chance to go to a very good place, for example, for ziyarah. For a few hours, I can have access to the shrine, and then I think it can be forever. So I go shopping, I go, I don't know, meeting my friends, I go sleep. I go, for example, for, checking my teeth. You have only few hours there, just spend it on ziyarah. So those who forget death, they are not appreciating even the life, let alone solving the problem for akhirah. So the solution is we should be always conscious about our death and look for opportunities to collect something. But this is not to be done in the way that we do worldly business. In the worldly business, people try to compete each other by grabbing opportunities and not letting others enjoy those opportunities, benefit from those opportunities. But here, you can collect more by helping others, by caring for others. The beauty of community life is that it creates for you endless opportunities to collect provision by helping others, by helping the community. So Imam Hasan alayhi salam said to Junadah, if you want an advice from me, the very first thing that you have to remember is استعد لسفرك. Prepare yourself for your journey. وحصل زادك قبل حلولأجلك. And prepare, collect your provision before the deadline comes. Then he said, واعلم أنك تطلب الدنيا والموت يطلبك. You go after dunya, but death is after you. So don't forget that you are followed by death. And the Quran says very beautifully, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يُدْرِكْكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. Wherever you go, wherever you are, death is finding you. It's going to catch you. So, prepare yourself. You cannot run away, just prepare yourself. وَلَا تَحْمِلْ حَمَّ يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي لَمْ يَأْتِهِ عَلَى يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي أَنْتَ فِيهِ. This sentence alone solves many problems. Do not impose the concerns that you have for the day which has not yet come on the day that you are in. Many times we unnecessarily worry ourselves, exhaust ourselves, sometimes even maybe we become depressed by thinking about things that might happen in this world after some time. For example, I have just a very young, for example, daughter. From now, I think, who is going to marry her? Is he going to look after her or is going to annoy her? Of course, it's a concern for parents. But what you are supposed to do today is the main concern. If you think too much about future, you forget what you have to do now. Now invest on her tarbiyah. Now try to live with the people who are God-fearing. And then when the day of her marriage comes, that day also be concerned about who would be a good husband for her. Not that now you forget what you are supposed to do today and think about tomorrow. So, at the same time that mu'min has to be far-sighted, but also mu'min has to be focused on his moment. Not that I live in future and forget what I am supposed to do now. Like for example, if I have to collect some food for winter, suppose as a farmer, in the past it was not possible to have everything in all seasons. So during summer or autumn you had to collect food for winter. If in summer I don't do anything and I just worry about winter, sit at home and think about winter. What is going to happen to me, to my family in winter? And I don't do anything, and when winter comes, the tragedy comes. So don't think that much about future of this world and forget what you are supposed to do today. Yes, if today you have something to do for future, you do it. Like for example, I have to study as a student. I have to study now so that I can have a good future. This is what I have to do now. But if there is something I cannot do anything about it and I just think about it and worry too much about it, what's the benefit? Many of our pains and many of our sufferings are actually for the things that we cannot do anything about them and we are just worrying. What happens if I become ill? What happens if I become poor? What happens if I lose my job? Do what you are supposed to do now properly and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَحْمِلْ هَمَّ يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي لَمْ يَأْتِهِ عَلَى يَوْمِكَ الَّذِي أَنْتَ فِيهِ. Don't impose, don't bring the concern for the day which has not yet come on the day which you live in. واعلم أنك لا تكسب من المال شيئا فوق قوتك إلا كنت فيه خازنا لغيرك. Be informed that whatever you collect, money, cash, assets, properties, whatever is going to be used, whatever is your sustenance, whatever you need, is that much that you enjoy. Anything else, you are just saving this for other people. Khazan means you save it. So you are working hard, but don't think you can benefit from all of it. Yes, you can benefit from all of it if now you use it properly. Now you spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise you just collect it. You become just like a bank and leave it for others. واعلم أن الدنيا في حلالها حساب وفي حرامها عقاب وفي الشبهات عتاب. Ya Junadah, be aware that in dunya, even if you earn from halal, spend in halal, eat from halal, speak halal, still you have to answer. There is حساب. Yeah, you cannot say, because it was halal, I am not going to be answerable about it. You have to answer. There is a story that once one alim, I think was in Tehran, that a robber was passing by and took away something from him. I don't know, was his cloak or something. And he said, please wait. People said, why you are asking to wait? He's a robber, he's not going to wait. He said, I want to forgive him. I said, that is yours, so that on the day of judgment I will not be in need of waiting to settle this issue. Right now I want to forgive. So, fi حلالها حساب. Imagine, if they take you to a very, hot environment and keep you on the sun and say, now tell us how much you have earned in 80 years. Even if it is halal, it's painful to remain under hot sun. You wish, you had very little. So, fi حلالها حساب. But na'udhu billah, if there is haram, fi حرامها عقاب. And you cannot try, be clever. Maybe in dunya you were clever, you deceived everyone, you deceived, accountant, tax people or other people, your client, customers, your manager. In akhirah you cannot deceive. وَفِي الشبهات. There are things that are not obviously haram. They are problematic. You were not cautious, you were not careful. Even here there is عتاب. Although there is no عقاب, there is no punishment, but there is عتاب. You will be blamed. Why you were not careful? Suppose you have not become ill, but why you were always with ill people? Why you expose yourself to germs and virus? Why you didn't look after your piety or your family's piety? Why you didn't exercise precaution with respect to your money being mixed with the money of other people? For example, you have a partner who doesn't give khums You give khums, but your partner is a Shia, doesn't give khums. And your money is mixed with him. Have you done something? Have you taken permission? Have you arranged something? So you have to be careful about shubhat. فانزل الدنيا بمنزلة الميتة. Imam Hasan alayhi salam says, consider dunya like meter. You know, in fiqh we say aklul meter. When someone is starving and has nothing halal to eat, can eat from meter. For example, there is a animal which is dead, it's not slaughtered properly, so this meat is not halal, but you are dying or your family are dying, just as much as can save your life or life of innocent people, you can use it. This is called aklul mita. Okay? But just to the extent that can save you. You cannot say, okay, now let's make a barbecue. We are allowed to do. No, just as much as it's needed. This is aklul mita. And we say, الضرورات تتقدر بقدرها. Just as much as you can solve the problem, you can use it. That much, nothing more. And actually, you as a mu'min never want to eat from mita. Yeah? Even maybe if sometimes they tell you it's permissible to save your life by eating mita, you say, I don't want to save my life with this. You know, sometimes there are some medicines, inside that medicine is wine. And there is no other alternative, there is no solution, no treatment. So maybe you can take that medicine as much as needed. But you as a mu'min, say, oh Allah, please don't put my shifa in this haram. Yeah? So as a mu'min, you don't say, oh, alhamdulillah, now I can have halal wine. A mu'min is not like that. So, Imam Hasan alayhi salam says, واعلم أن الدنيا في حلالها حساب وفي حرامها عقاب وفي الشبهات عتاب فانزل الدنيا بمنزلة الميتة. So consider it like meter, like a dead animal which is not slaughtered properly. خذ منها ما يكفيك. Only take as much as you need. Don't say, let me save some of this meter for the future. Just take a little so that you survive. فَإِنْ كَانَ حَلَالًا. Even if now it is permissible and you took very little, قَدْ زَهِدْتَ فِي. You didn't lose anything. وَإِنْ كَانَ حَرَامًا لَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهِ وَزْرٌ. But if it is haram, then you have not put unnecessary burden on yourself. It's a very beautiful hadith, but I think what I said is maybe enough. Inshallah, you can follow up if you like. So now at the end, I would like to end with remembering some of the masa'ib of Imam Hasan alayhi salam. One of the problems of dunya, when it has become a goal by itself. Dunya as a means, as a kind of opportunity to work for akhirah is the best thing, has no replacement. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam said, الدنيا متجر أولياء الله. It's the place that the friends of God do business in dunya. This is the only opportunity that we have. But when dunya becomes your goal only, and you do everything for dunya, then the tragedy has no limit. It can reach the point that you can be wife of Imam and for the sake of dunya betray your Imam, which is also your husband. Why? Because someone like Muawiyah has promised you that if you kill Hasan ibn Ali, I will give you money and I will also marry you to Yazid. Can you imagine? If they want to punish someone which is worse than killing, they should say, I'm going to marry you to Yazid. You know, if you have understanding. But we are so much deceived sometimes by dunya that we think marrying to Yazid is a great thing. Having money from Muawiyah is a great thing, which is worse killing my own Imam. This is the problem when you go after dunya. Dunya blinds, and you cannot understand even the basic things.